Greetings to another video. Today is going to be all about heart rate monitors and heart rate and the metric of training with heart rate, because it is one of the most asked questions that I get on Instagram, on my videos, especially on the hill climb videos that I've been doing recently. You're like, where is the heart rate? Like, can you put heart rate on there? What is your heart rate? How do you train to heart rate? So I'm going to answer all those questions. And I guess the first thing to say is, in short, I do not train with heart rate. That is not a metric that I ever look at, I don't have it even on my Wahoo, on my head unit. I don't look at it. I don't ever look at it. The only time that I will briefly look at it is on Zwift, or when I have done a workout afterwards on the turbo on Zwift. When I'm outside, I don't ever wear one. And I guess I want to talk a little bit about why I don't wear it, and I've actually been chatting to my coach, Mark from Transition Cycle Coaching, because I want to just clarify with him how he uses those metrics when he's looking at my training plan. So for me, the main thing that I only ever use when I'm training is power, and that is because power is like just the king of like training and improving as a cyclist. And the reason that I don't use heart rate is because heart rate is, how would you describe it? Is like how the heart rate is only really showing you what your body, how your body is reacting to the watts that you're putting out. Does that make sense? So watts are very objective and very they're objective basically, whereas heart rate can vary so much. And I've got a couple of examples to show you why I don't use heart rate. So these two examples that I'm going to pop up on the screen now are the exact same session on 2 different days, putting out the same amount of watts, but the heart rate is quite different. And the reason that it's different is heart rate can be affected by so many different things. So it can be affected by how much you've slept, whether you're stressed, whether you've just drank coffee, how hydrated you are. There are so many different factors that go into what your heart rate is doing. And for me, all I'm bothered about is watts. And when I asked Mark, my coach, he basically said to me, the best way of training and how you're getting fitter and improving fatigue resistance and just basically being a better athlete is by improving your watts. That is the metric that they use to look at. I mean, they do look at all of it, and he said, you know, as me as a coach, I will look at your heart rate just to see how you're reacting to it, but it's not something that I focus on it, and it's focusing on the watts and the power that I'm able to put out is what's most important. And he also had a really good couple of points to make as well. So basically one of the things he said was, a couple of times, a couple of the people, I'm not naming names, but I don't even know who he said actually, but he basically said a couple of times, a couple of people have been at a race and they've been really excited, the adrenaline's going, and they've set off on this race and they've looked down and seen that the heart rate is sky high because it's down to lots of different factors like I've just explained, as well as it being race day and people getting really excited and the adrenaline's going and you're just like, yeah, I'm feeling like a pro. So he looked down at that, saw that his heart rate was rocket high, and then mentally, sorry, mentally switched off because he's like, I can't, my heart rate is too high, I'm not going to hold that, and then just flunked the race. Whereas I think if you hadn't have seen that, that's my interpretation of it as well, and what Mark said as well, is if he had not have seen that, that mental game wouldn't have happened because you wouldn't have known that. And so I think that's really important to look at. And also the other thing he said was, there's this theory that it's, you know, your max heart rate is 220 minus your age, but he's like, we've got so many people that their max heart rate will go above that because they've been training so many years. So it's not really a great metric to kind of base your training on. One thing he did say though, and I should stress this, is if you have got some kind of medical condition where your heart rate cannot get to a certain point, then just be really careful with it. But for the for most of us, I guess, that don't, for me, I just don't ever look at heart rate, and won't ever look at heart rate, if I'm honest. The only time that I ever really look at it is, for example, if I've done like a set interval session and the intervals have felt harder than they have done in the past, then I'll look at my heart rate and go, actually my heart rate is a little bit higher, which then makes the perceived effort harder. And then that will then cause me to think, oh well, actually, have I slept enough? Have I been eating enough? Have I been drinking enough water? Am I a little bit stressed at the minute? Have I got a lot on? So yeah, they're just other factors. It's more like an afterthought for me, rather than it being the main reason that one of the main metrics that I use. So I thought I would actually run through a few of the metrics that I do use when I'm on the bike, whether I'm on an Audax, whether I'm on a climb. So the main one that I have at the very top is watts, because it is the king of everything. I just love watts. I'm a numbers geek. So yeah, I like watts. And then I have cadence, and I try and keep that between 80 and 100. And then what other ones do I have? I have time. So for example, if it's an interval, I want to know like what time I've got left on that interval, how much I've done. And then also distance. So if I'm on a hill climb, so that I know how long's left. And they are the main metrics. I mean, there are others on there. I could go into it if you want me to do like a whole like setup how I've got my Wahoo Roam. I've got the Roam of how I've got that set up. But they are the 3 or 4 main ones that I actually use on a, say, day to day. I've not even been outside riding for so long because the weather is just so bad. But yeah, I thought that would give you a little bit of an insight into why I don't use heart rate and maybe why it's not an really important thing to look at, unless, like I say, you've got a medical condition. So yeah, I think that is it for this video. I promise I will get out at some point and film a ride outside. I feel like it's been since Australia that I've not filmed like a vlog outside. I am desperate to get outside and ride my bike, but it's absolutely hammering down right now. So I'm gonna go out and just go and eat some food with my friends. So that is my evening planned. So I hope you have a really good weekend. I hope it's dry wherever you are, because I cannot handle it. I think we're actually gonna do part run. Part run's always good if it's raining and you can't ride. Part run and then a walk. Anyway, I'll stop rambling on and I will see you next video. See you later.